When you meet someone for the first time, take your time to check their eye color. This extra second or two will help you maintain eye contact just for the right time. It'll instantly make you more likable and increase your charm. If you want someone to enjoy a hard task, don't promise them any kind of reward. It may sound illogical, but if people expect to get some payment, they lose motivation, and it doesn't allow them to enjoy the activity for its own sake. If you need to remember to do something, try to connect it with some unusual action. For example, to not forget to take the keys to your office in the morning, place a chair in front of your entrance door. If someone insists that you make a decision in a hurry, they most likely try to manipulate you. The best idea is to decline their offer. If someone nearby is panicking, start to breathe in and out loudly and regularly. The person might not realize it, but they'll begin to breathe at the same rate as you do. It'll eventually calm them down. When you're talking to a person, ask them at least a couple of questions before you start your own story. It'll prove that you've been listening, and the person will feel important. If you're talking with a person who's trying to manipulate you, look at the center of their forehead. This point should be a bit higher than eye level. This will make it harder for the person to lie or try to influence you. Asking a question isn't the fastest way to find the necessary information on the internet. Try writing something wrong on a forum. You'll be surprised how many people will show up to correct you. If you're holding a drink at a party, don't keep it at your chest level. Move it to the waist level or even lower. Experts are sure it makes you look more open and confident, and people feel eager to talk to you. Let's say you want people at some social gathering to perceive you as an outgoing person. Choose someone and ask them a random question like, "I love your shoes, where'd you buy them?" It'll be a perfect icebreaker. People love talking about themselves. If you want to check if someone's paying attention to what you're talking about, fold your arms. If the person is listening to you and is interested, they'll likely mimic your gesture. When you come to a job interview, you get judged from the very moment you enter the waiting room. Whether it's intentional or not, hiring managers will take into account how you spend your time while waiting. So take a serious book with you and read it to make a good first impression. You can literally wash away guilt. Studies have shown that people feel less guilty after washing their hands or taking a shower. It even helps if you watch someone else wash their hands. If you find it hard to get through the whole working week, plan something every Wednesday that you'll be looking forward to. It can be something small, like treating yourself to a pizza or watching a movie. But when it's over, half of the week has already gone by and the weekend is much closer. While preparing for a test or exam, chew gum with a particular taste. During the test, use chewing gum with the same flavor. Your brain will connect the taste and the process of chewing with the information you learned while preparing, and you're likely to remember everything much faster. Once you've learned something, find someone else and try to explain it to them what you've just found out. This way, you'll understand the whole concept better, and the information will stay in your mind for a longer time. If you thank someone for their behavior, they're more likely to act in such a way in the future, even if they weren't too nice before. You can find out who likes you in a big company. Wait until everyone is laughing and check who's looking at you while doing it. While laughing, people tend to sneak peeks at those who they want to be close to. Another way to figure out if a person likes you is to choose a word they sometimes say and nod or smile every time it leaves their mouth. If they're attracted to you, they'll begin to use this word even more often. If you have to deal with angry customers, place a mirror behind you at the counter. When people come up to you, they'll see themselves in this mirror. It'll lower the chances of them acting irrationally and rudely. When you ask for something you need, always use the word because. It makes people believe there's a serious reason for your request. And of course there is. To show you're listening to someone attentively, Look at their one eye, then the other, and then at their mouth. Keep following this triangular pattern for the entire time the person's speaking. Most songs that keep playing on a loop in your head are just earworms. But sometimes it can be a sign that your brain reminds you of an unfinished task. To shake it off, listen to the song to the end, singing along all the while. To make somebody stop snoring, knock on a hard surface, for example a nightstand or a wardrobe. In most cases, this stops the snoring for at least some time, and will short-circuit that urge to use a pillow in a bad way. If you want to ace an important interview or meeting, persuade yourself that you've known the person you're going to see for ages. Imagine how you're going to greet each other, shake hands, and have a pleasant conversation. This will help you relax before the big event. Whenever you need to speak in public, take a bottle of water with you. Once you realize you've forgotten the text, take a few sips. This way, nobody will understand you've made a pause because a part of the speech has slipped your mind. Usually, people can only store no more than 7 pieces of information in their short-term memory, but you can increase this number by grouping different chunks of data together. Think of some connection between them, and you'll be able to keep in mind more things. Concentrate on all the times you got it right rather than on your failures. You can even make a list with everything you've succeeded in, even if it's something as small as waking up on time. When someone is screaming at you, try to remain calm and look unaffected. After seeing you so collected, they're likely to feel even angrier, but later, this person might feel a bit embarrassed. Admit your unimportant mistakes to people who you need to trust you. They'll perceive you as an honest person who isn't afraid to show their vulnerable side every once in a while. It'll work for your benefit. For example, people will be more likely to listen to your opinion in a dispute. Start nodding a bit during a conversation. It'll make the person you're talking to more attentive to your words, and they won't even realize why. If you need to talk in front of a big and loud audience that just won't quiet down, start mouthing the words of your speech. Accompany it with suitable gestures so that it looks like you're already talking. People will notice it and quiet down almost immediately. People rarely remember the whole duration of some experience equally. When they recall something later, the first and last memories of an event or person will be the most prominent. That's why it's crucial to make not only a good first impression, but also to nail your last impression. Always try to find a way to leave on a high note, like an A-flat or even C-sharp. If you have an important job interview, do everything you can to have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. On Mondays, people are nervous since it's the beginning of a new working week. And on Friday, everyone is already thinking about the weekend. If you want to impose your opinion on someone, keep mentioning it in different contexts. You can also repeat it throughout the conversation, every time with a different expression. Your companion will soon start to perceive the idea as their own because their brain will label it as a familiar one. Always keep a straight posture and walk around as if you have a lot of influence. You'll notice people treat you with more respect. Plus, you'll come across as a confident person, and those are perceived as more trustworthy, reliable, and attractive. If someone is staring you in the subway, look at their shoes. Don't give up, keep gazing. This will drive this person crazy. While talking to someone, try to control your hands. Showing your palms will indicate you're genuine and sincere, and steepling your fingers will convey confidence. If you think a person dislikes you, ask them for a book to borrow. It'll create some sort of a connection between you two. When you return the book, share your opinion about it with its owner. It'll help them warm up to you. If you're asked to do something you don't want to do, just say no. People usually expect you to give the reasons for your refusal. Your straightforward answer will discourage them from trying to talk you into agreeing. A person will like a gift from you more if you add a note. Hope you enjoy it. I got myself the same one too. Research shows people feel closer to others if they receive a present their partners have also got for themselves. If someone's trying to interrupt you by talking loudly over you, keep speaking. The main thing is not to raise your voice. It should be exactly the same as before. The person who tried to interrupt you will soon feel awkward and fall silent. Most people respect their parents and believe their words. That's why if you say you've heard some information from your parents, others will subconsciously take it more seriously. Now, even though it sounds cliché that people judge you by your handshake, it's true. You can make a better first impression if you rub your hands together in advance. It'll make them warm and dry. If you don't want to talk to someone you know, pretend to be really worried every time you see them. In the end, this person will start feeling worried every time they meet you as well, and vice versa. If you want to make a person warm up toward you, greet them with all the enthusiasm you have. After finishing your speech during a meeting or negotiations, look people in the eye and wait in silence. Your determined look will affect how they perceive your words. The most crucial thing, though, is not to lose eye contact during these intense moments. If you want a person to do something for you, ask them for a bigger favor first. After rejecting something more difficult, people are likely to agree to a more easy-looking request. You can build a stronger relationship with someone if you show you trust them enough to share one of your secrets. But remember to choose a secret you can spill in advance before you meet the person you want to build rapport with. People subconsciously perceive fast speakers who use lots of hand gestures and talk loudly and expressively as smart and more experienced. You might have difficulties with making decisions because there are too many options. 4 choices at a time are the maximum number the human brain can process. Give yourself 4 alternatives at the most, and take time to consider each of them. If you want to build a relationship with someone, ask this person to explain something to you. You might even know the answer better than the person you've addressed, but this will make them warm up towards you. If you didn't get a good night's sleep, tell your brain that you did. When you genuinely believe that you're well rested, your brain will function better even if you haven't slept much. If you often have the feeling that you forgot to do something at home, start using the point and call method. When you lock the door, point at it and say, "The door's locked." This way, you won't need to doubt whether you've done something or not. If you ask a person some question and they're hesitant to answer, maintain eye contact with them. It'll prove you aren't afraid of the answer, and the person will feel more at ease. If you think someone might disagree with your opinion, sit next to this person. This position is perceived as less antagonistic. Your opponent won't feel threatened and is more likely to agree with your point of view. Enthusiasm is contagious. If you need people to accept your idea, get as enthusiastic and excited about it as possible. Yeah! When they see this kind of emotion, most of them will feel the same. People tend to think others have warm and nice personalities when they have a warm drink in their hands. That's why it's better to skip on an ice cream date and invite the person you like to have some hot coffee or tea instead. The more you overload people with information, the less they like it. When you need something from somebody, avoid rambling. Concentrate on 1 or 2 main points. A joke stops being funny after you repeat it several times. Trust me. If someone is trying to have a good laugh at your expense in a company, pretend you haven't heard the joke clearly. After they repeat it 3 or 4 times, no one will be laughing anymore. People subconsciously perceive those who smile too widely as not serious enough. So save your big smiles for your friends and family and tamp it down at business meetings. When you're walking through a crowded sidewalk, avoid eye contact with people who are in your way. Look a bit above and behind them and confidently march straight ahead. You'll notice people subconsciously take the cue and move out of the way. If you feel uncomfortable meeting new people or giving speeches, start acting as if you don't feel anxious. Your brain will have nothing to do but adjust. If someone leans on the back of their chair, it might indicate they're tired of the conversation and don't want to continue it, or they feel uncomfortable in the presence of the other person. If you're working on some project in a group and want someone to do a particular task, ask them, "Can you get started on this?" It sounds like less work, and the person is more likely to agree. But chances are they'll just go ahead and complete the task. When you ask a person to do something for you, add, "You can always refuse," right after your request. It will make them relax, and they won't feel pressured. They'll also be more likely to help you. If you want someone to make a particular choice, give them a list with at least 3 alternatives. The one you need them to pick should be the last. People usually choose this option since it's the freshest in their minds. When someone tells you an opinion you don't agree with, don't object immediately. Say something like, I see what you mean." Then add, "But have you ever considered…" and express your own opinion. This way, you're unlikely to be interrupted. Everything you say about others influences the way people see you. It's better to avoid talking about those you don't like whatsoever than to say negative things about them. But if you can, try to find something about them to compliment. Never start your request with the words, "Could you?" The person you're addressing will subconsciously assume this is a theoretical question. Then the answer yes can mean, "Yes, theoretically I could." It's better to rephrase your request to, "Please print this document out for me." Finally, never forget the name of the person who's been introduced to you. Call them by their name right away. It'll help you reinforce the information in your mind, and the person you're talking to will take to you immediately. People like hearing their names. It makes them feel important. Remember, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too.